So I was working on my tractor in the yard yesterday, and a song was going through my head repeatedly. It was Sweet Little Jesus Boy, an old spiritual that I had heard sung at Middlebrook Pike United Methodist Church in the mid-70s, say 1973 to 1978. It was sung by a choir member there named Virginia Metzger, a wonderful Christian lady who sang in the choir, and on certain Sundays at Christmas time, she was called upon to do the anthem, and she would sing that song. She sang it beautifully. I don't know why that song was in my head, but it was in there hard. I got off the tractor when I finished my chores, and I played a video of the great Mahalia Jackson singing that song, and played it a couple times to get the feel of it. Kim and I were going to a cotillion that night, and we were dressed informally, so Kim was getting dressed, so I had time to kill. So I went into the greenhouse to pot a plant for Nikki, and before I went over there, I copied the lyrics to that song and went in the greenhouse, and I recorded a version of that. You can see it. It was my last YouTube video from yesterday. I don't know why I was called to do that. The song was in my head, and I recorded the video for my YouTube channel. I really can't explain why. If you notice, at the end of the video, I dedicated the song to the memory of the late Virginia Metzger. Now, that's a woman that I had not seen again since the 70s, maybe the early 80s, and I had not uttered her name 35, 40 years. We got dressed, Kim and I, and before we went to the cotillion, we went to a gathering of folks that we went to high school with in West Knoxville. It was a casual affair, and we were dressed to the nines, so we had fun with that. We met folks that were in our wedding party, some old friends, folks we had known for years, but there were some new people there, and they were introducing me, and they introduced me to a young man named Metzger. And my dear friend Rosemary said, his family went to church with you, Otto. I looked at him, I said, are you related to Virginia Metzger? And he goes, yes, that was my mother. I was shocked, and I gathered everybody around, and I played the video I had just recorded. It was on my phone. And you could have heard a pin drop at the end when I mentioned that I had dedicated this song to the late Virginia Metzger. It was very moving for everybody, and clearly not a coincidence, and it was extremely moving to her son. It led me to pause and think about how this applies to my knowledge of the Holy Spirit. Well, number one, obviously the Holy Spirit exists, but what do I know of that? Well, I find that in my experience, sometimes the Holy Spirit works through someone, maybe even that they're unaware of it, but the Holy Spirit works through people sometimes to the benefit of others. That what maybe seems like a trivial event to you or myself might be of great import to someone else. For example, what would be the influence of that event on the hearts of her son? Maybe it's perceived as that her mother is speaking to her through that song, Safe and in Heaven. Who knows? The other thing I note about that is it makes me very glad, very humbled, and very excited that the Holy Spirit is at work in my life. That occasionally God's Spirit finds me and taps me on the shoulder and says hello, just as a honeybee flits from flower to flower. that's exciting to me, that the God of the universe occasionally visits me in strange and mysterious and miraculous ways. I think that's a good lesson for all of us. The biblical verse is, be attentive to the Spirit and heed his call. I think both of those are challenging, but it's good advice for anybody. I think if we focus our lives on faith, family, friends, and work, the Holy Spirit will find fertile ground and will play a role in your life as well as mine. I'm assured of that. My very best wishes to everybody for Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year.